Greetings, my fellow Afumadites. In these times, in Shaznaya's release, I've been hearing some less than pleasant remarks about the greatest, the GOAT, the god of the hexvaped, Mavuika. And I am here to say, and I'm here to remind you, to never, and I mean never, bet against the Evernight of Genshin Impact. I will tell you why, okay? Some people will say power creep. Okay, fair. You know, like who cares if you do like 250k DPS if they just release a character that's like, oh, it breeds, everything dies. Yeah, that's like power creep at this point, man. So why? So why shouldn't you abandon the hexvaped god, Mavuika? I'll tell you why. It is not for meta reasons, nor is it for lore, especially not for design, but I think it is a moral obligation. Let me tell you a story about the goat before Mavuika, Tartaglia. That boy Ajax used to rule the Genshin world. He is the absolute ceiling. No units will be stronger than him. Him with his 100k DPS. Even at version 1.x. He's a fair ruler. He's just. Tartaglia, Xiangling, Bennett, and then you choose Sucrose or Kazuha. He's a just man. And he demands his players to understand every enemy and execute his combos with such flawless beauty. This Tartaglia is a fair ruler. For 5 years, he ruled. Nobody cared for him. Everyone says that he's washed, he's garbage, he's worse than Ayato! People said he's worse than Ayato! Fucking, I will dispatch you in 8 cycles, Ayato! Okay? But child, he doesn't care for the praise. He simply works, he shuts his mouth, and he did his thing, 100k DPS for 5 years. No one appreciates his hard work. Hyperbloom's release. Everyone says, oh, Hyperbloom is so broken. Hyperbloom is broken. Oh my god, Hyperbloom. Oh, I'll hike them. Oh, I'll hike them, daddy, please. Let me join a threesome with you and Cabbage. Everyone's saying, oh, Nahida is broken. Nahida is broken. Nahida is broken. Even though the only thing she does is apply Dendro. They say, Raiden Shogun broken. Raiden Shogun broken. Even though she's not good at all. She is literally a convenience. And the only reason why we respect Raiden is because playing Raiden Shogun is like your gateway drug to the Tartaglia International. But Hoyo knew. They knew that this man Tartaglia is OP. So they created Nubilet. This guy Nubilet with his ball sucking, his Byron blasting, his AoE, his no-skill gameplay. He can demolish Abyss on his own. And guess what? Tartaglia is not a jealous man. He's a good family man, you know, this Tartaglia. He said, you know, I'll sit back and watch. +1 normal attack talent. That is already better than a C0 Farina in speedrunning context. He offered his team Xiangling Kazuha. What a good man. Have you ever seen another DPS that is willing to share the spotlight? No. I know you might be asking, hey random guy 007, what is the relation between Tartaglia and Mavuika? And did I say, be patient! I've known you sit longer for me to discuss about has-been fucking hotel. So you better be seated when I'm discussing about actual peak. Sorry, I'm a bit carried. I'm a bit carried away, I'm sorry. I'll be calm. But then, Hoyo realized, damn, Fontaine and nothing stopping Childe, he can literally just support Nubilet. Fine. In Natlan, something changed in Hoyo. They think, you know what? We are being too nice. We are making kits that are innovative, with unique gameplay mechanics, with a new region, with one of the best exploration. Let's balance it, you know? We can't be too nice. First, they make Moalani broken as fuck, and Moalani says, normal attacks are not normal attack talent, because they know that if it is, Tartaglia will probably be her best fucking support. They make her fat fucking shark do 1 gazillion damage for no fucking reason. This fucking tour guide was like, oh, need a surfboard? Fuck you! We feel chills. We're like, oh shit. But Molani feels crap to play, right? Crap to play, right? But this is only a dose to the demonic hell, to the hellscape that Hoyo will unleash and not cry. Childe, the great wisdom given to him by his parents, Mrs. Childe and Mr. Childe. Nah, just kidding. His parents are abusive as fuck. They literally dropped him to the Fatui. But I don't know where he got it from. Actually, I do know where he got it from. He got it from the Queen of Entry W, Skirk. You know? Childe, with his understanding, realizes, I, Tartaglia Ajax, I must stop this insanity. There will be a time where my skill expression is not enough. So he went to, I don't know, like an altar to pray for something, but not the Sritza, because that fucker is a bum. But he went somewhere. Maybe he's calling to Skirk, especially also seeing that our Bumechinno is already park creeping her fellow Pyro DPS Joimia, a sign of the end times. He prayed to anyone that will listen, please, someone needs to carry my legacy. Because if I fall, then it is a message that Genshin can chill whoever they want, whenever they want. And then, with that, players' wallets are gonna be dry. They're gonna be sucked dry. And beholden, from the ashes, someone heard that prayer. I don't know who. Some say it is a proof that God exists. And maybe that's why some people say there's a return to people being religious. Others say that this might be an oversight from Dawei in his stupid insanity. I personally would like to believe that it is the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Cyrene! The GOAT Cyrene! With her kindness, she enlightened a woman from Natlan. And she asked, Mavuika, Mavuika, do you want to be a hero? Mavuika responded, that's Finance's thing. I respect my goats. I respect those who come before me. Because Natlan isn't just made from the greatest of accomplishments. Natlan is all of us, from the poorest to the rich, that we all together, we are Natlan. And Cyrene knew, yeah, she is the one. And so Cyrene gave her the ultimate test. She said, be the Pyro Archon, but I will dress you in something filthier than rags. And Mavuika says, I don't know what's filthier than rags, but I'll accept. But Mavuika didn't know. She's dressed in this fucking leather suit thingy-majiggy in the Natlan heat as sweat sticks to her. As her skin is exposed, sweat slowly stinking her. The agonizing torture as she needs to wear that for 500 years while stopping the abyss, stopping the insanity that Dawei is about to release. But Mavuika doesn't care about any of that. She chose to be the strongest god imaginable. She knows people will call her, oh, I'm a Mary Sue. They know they'll slander her, her story, her people, say that it is worse than Lias's Archon quest. She knows, but she doesn't care. Because she knew the sacrifice must be made. Because if Natlan falls, then it is a precedent that yes, power creep is acceptable. Yes, skill doesn't matter. Yes, you can pay to win. So Mavuika bore all of the sins, not of her own people, not even of her own. She bore the sins of people that wouldn't even thank her, people that wouldn't even care. People do not care. They said, "Fuck you, Arlecchino. Fuck you, Mavuika. You park-crept Arlecchino." Ignoring the fact that Arlecchino stole Yoimiya's career, stole Yoimiya's life, fucked her boyfriend. But they don't care about that. All they care about is a pretty looking face. They never care about what's inside. Yes, Mavuika looks ugly as fuck. It is revolting. But, as prophesied, she will be ugly as fuck in the words of the holy text of the Bible of Childe, in the books of my deism. But Mavuika didn't care. Why would the Evernight of Genshin Impact care? She understood that her duty is to us, the players, that value skill, those who still dream beyond the stars, those who fought against the waves of Childe. When she's released, people said she's too broken, she's unfair, she's a pay-to-win fuck, you need Citlali, you need Zelonin. But they don't know what she did to their accounts. Those who pulled on Mavuika, even without Citlali, has gained something. A secondary Xiangling. Suddenly, overload teams started popping off. King of Hell Sino. People should know that Mavuika is a benevolent soul when she saved Sia Bin from irrelevancy. Before Stellar Buff, she was the first person who realized Sinos' aspiration of a just world. But no, they mocked her. Said she ruined Genshin. Said she's the worst character. They said they quit Genshin because of her. And then they said, I don't care about meta, or I don't care about story, or whatever. They'll say all of that thing. Alright? They never really cared about Genshin. They don't care about the plights of those who have suffered to fight against the gacha shill of this fucking game. Of course, they don't need to care. You don't need to care about the world's issues, that's fine. You don't need to care about that. But Mavuika does. She doesn't need to care. She could live a normal life with her sister, finish her drawing. But she sacrificed it all. She took all the pain of the Natlan people. She dealt with Capitano. When Capitano entered the story, she said, I will take the screen time. Because none of you deserve to breathe the same air as that fucking bum Capitano. She suffered! She needs to be Capitano! He smells like shit! He doesn't take a bath! He has an orgy of Korean people in his heart! But even that demon Capitano, at the end of his life, realized, shit, why does Mavuika treat me so kindly? And finally did the only good thing he did, and died to ensure that Mavuika lives. Because he finally saw what Childe told him. Mavuika is her, the Evernight of Genshin. Veresa happened. And even if she's a useless fuck that did nothing to the story, that adds nothing to the game, Mavuika helped her become the second best DPS. Because Mavuika doesn't care about what you do in your life. She cares on what you could have done in the future. Because Mavuika, unlike me, she doesn't hate. She loves people. She loves those who spit at her, who insulted her, said that she ruins the Genshin meta, causes power creep, even though that is the fault of another Pyro DPS that is barely a power creep to the overall meta that stole Yoimiya's job. Okay. Enough Arlecchino slander. I don't want to talk about her in a video about the goat Mavuika. But not Kraike. And Hoyo created their most devious creation, Lunar Shell. They made reactions that can only be triggered by fucking 5 stars. They paywalled it. They added bosses that needs lunar mechanics. They added a new game mode, Stygian Onslaught. Kills all the energy. So now, characters without energy are better, right? They cannot use their old DPSs. They need to pull the new ones. Of course, those who pulled for Mavuika will be handsomely rewarded. Because Mavuika, she can brute force them all. Hoya has tried creating the Wild Hunt, doubling the HP if you don't fucking have Lunar Shield. 2 lunar characters. Guess who brute forced it? Mavuika. And it's funny, people said, oh, she needs it lolly. She needs it lolly. Mavuika is such a kind soul that, you know, some people understood her. They don't judge her for how she looks, on the stench that she has, forced by the burdens of the rags she needs to wear. They don't care that she tries to help others in need. They don't care that, like, you know, on what people say about her, saying that she's an egoistical bitch, that she's cruel, that she's a Mary Sue, all of that. They don't care. Because they knew Mavuika's a kind soul. Chevrus, Ororon, and later on, Iansan. They realized that the world has treated Mavuika too cruelly, judged her, said that she ruined the game that she was saving. And as such, the one cost overload is created. And with that team, Mavuika has cleared station after station after station after station after station. But power keeps going up. And people don't know if Overload can handle it. But there is one angel that has taken care of Mavuika and her entire journey for 500 years. And every time Mavuika feels like she wants to die, to kill herself, to say, why am I even doing all this for people that don't care about me? Why? A voice in her head tells her, keep going, Mavuika. One more Styxian. First, she gave her the knowledge of the forbidden combos, the dash cancels, knowing at what time you unleash it, the finishers, the jumps, all of it. It skyrocketed her DPS to similar amounts to her C2, made her overtake Nefer and Flins, who is boosted by Columbina. Overtook it with barely any cost. This also frees her from the constraints of needing Setlali, because Setlali is getting old. Her bones are cracking. But Setlali tells Mavuika, keep going on. Because I know who you are, great hero, great Archon. And then, this angel has finally granted Mavuika a gift she needs the most. The great angel's name does have a name. And that angel's name is Nicole Rain. The kindest, the prettiest angel. And from all units that she wants to give her biggest blessings to, she doesn't give it to all the flashy units. Not to the flashy Varka with his multiple element bullshit. Not to that fraud Lohan! Fucking bum. Not to many other meta DPSs, the lunar shits. No. Because Nicole doesn't care about your status. When you die, you leave nothing behind but a legacy. And of course, there's one person that cares about the legacy of this hit game, Genshin Impact, more than anyone else. And that person is Mavuika. A person that even at this point sacrificed her Gnosis so that Nahida can overtake her. She realized that as an Archon, she cannot bear everything alone. To be the perfect Archon is not enough, as it is a sign of pure conservatism, as it is supporting a system where it is controlled by a single individual. Mavuika realizes that even if she tries her best, she is a flawed person, and so she puts in her trust to her fellow kind person, Nahida, and gave her Gnosis so that she can vanquish Dottore and save Tevat. She let go of everything, and now she's ready to put her life on the line for one last station, perhaps. She's thinking, after Moongekko, no more. I've done it all, and I'm ready to find someone to pass on the torch. But then, she heard a voice. You're lacking crit rate. And then she said, Tartaglia. And Tartaglia says, thank you for carrying my legacy, the carrying of actually using skill. Thank you for pushing players to the furthest amounts. I can rest easy now with no buffs. Now, never forget the reaction that started Genshin meta. You shall carry on my truest flame, the art to vaporize. It is weaker than melt, yes, but it is more consistent. And with that, Nicole, the pretty, most beautiful angel, has granted her final piece of wisdom. Hexvaped. Mona Sucrose plus C4. With their unsurmountable power, Mavuika has finally reached her final one costing form. The Evernight of Genshin Impact has finally found teammates that will push her to the absolute limits beyond the 200k. And with that, Mavuika went to work. Station after station, she keeps destroying them, annihilating them. Mavuika, Mona, Sucrose, Iansan. She decimates them. And you know what? The people start to realize too. The people started realizing that their shield DPSs, they might be flashy, but no one cared about them like Mavuika. They start picking up their Mavuikas, even those without Setlali, and they slowly realize the kind person that Mavuika is. They realize that all along, the reason Mavuika is that strong is not for selfish needs. She doesn't need to be the best DPS. She just needs to be the DPS that is always there for you. Let me ask you, when your mom left you, who's there? Mavuika is there. When your keyboard cannot handle your clicking, not keyboard, sorry, your mouse, it doesn't click fast enough. Your skirt combos, they're fucked. Who's there for you? Mavuika is. When your Arlecchino is a bum, who is there for you? Mavuika is. When you want to play Sino before Sandrone release, who is there? Mavuika is there for you. Because she's always there for you. She never lets you go. She might not be a Himeko SP, but unlike Himenova, she never gives you up. She never lets you down. She's not an E2 merchant. She just keeps moving forward. She's there for you. And now, they're about to unleash a disgusting power creep. With Sandrone and her fucking supports and her free Nova Flare one version after. And you're telling me that you're gonna abandon the person that sacrificed her legacy, her design, her aura, her everything for you, for a clanker? Is that the type of person you want to be? She has sacrificed everything for you. She carried the legacy of Tartaglia, and you're gonna leave her just like that? Oh, but Sandrone is gay. She has such a beautiful story. She won't have a story if Tavian is destroyed, and the only reason it's not is because of Mavuika giving that gnosis to Nahida at the time of need. Alright? So those who switch up on Mavuika now, when she's no longer the best DPS, number one, you probably fucking play Elation Battleship and then you leave Silverwolf the moment that she cannot just one click destroy everything. You're probably Evanescia fans. You probably fall for the Remiel Ponzi scam. You probably snort glue. But another, really? To those who ditch Mavuika in her hour of need, it saddens me. Because you did the same to Tartaglia too. Are you gonna let another kind soul be destroyed by the shilling? We have let Tartaglia down. He's like the lowest DPS in low cost bracket. He has less DPS than Eula now, because Eula can be fucking wheelchaired. You abandoned him, slandered him, said he's worse than Ayato, and here you are doing it to Mavuika again. You don't care. The moment Arlecchino can hexvaped, you play fucking Arlecchino, the deadbeat father that probably fucking groomed her kids. First time when Chal was Spark Rep, I didn't say anything. Because back then I was naive. I'll admit, I used to hate Mavuika too. You know, because her story is imperfect. But you know what? Why am I demanding perfection from her? I don't even know how to play her combos perfectly. And yet she keeps pushing things to be better. Perhaps Natlan's story quest is flawed. Perhaps her design is ugly. Perhaps she isn't perfect. But you know what she is? Someone who tried. She tried to be the Archon that you need. And you all spit at her face, laughed at her, discredited her efforts. You're the same people who think that Castris is a better DPS than Evernight. Shame on you, man. I don't have Mavuika. But God forbid I let her legacy go to waste, the Evernight of Genshin Impact. The one who pushes the skill ceiling of units. Ever since Mavuika combos are discovered, people slowly push their DPS to their limits. I fucking see people playing Dragon Strike on their Raiden, trying to push their limits. Inspired by the insanity of Mavuika mains. They're true innovators, they're egoists to the very core. And now, the meta will change, but I implore you, beyond the shilling, beyond the bullshit, never forget the DPS who kept it all, who bore all her pain. And now in her time of need, we will never abandon her. If Mavuika created the Roman Empire, then let us be her Scipio. The man who came in her time of need, or the woman, or the non-binary. Never abandon Mavuika. Never again will we abandon a DPS that is there for us. Never again will we let another soul down. Only with this can Mavuika's suffering be repaid. Only with this can we carry on Tartaglia's flame. I implore you, my fellow Afumeidites. Let us put honor and credit where it's due. I know these are challenging times. I hear some people say that Mavuika ruined Genshin and that she's worse than fucking Lohan. Fucking Lohan! I will not abandon her. I might not be a Mavuika player. I'm personally, like a Skirt main, an Afumeido main. But I don't need to have Mavuika to put my respects on her. And even if she is Parkrep, then she will go out with a blaze of glory. That's why Mavuika's the GOAT. Not because she's strong, which she is, but because she's always there for us. And you know what? Let's take it into a more philosophical way. Enough of this Genshin shit posting. Let's get serious. If you have a friend that is struggling, right? Oh God, he's such a funny dude, right? Be there for them, man. You don't know on what people are going through. And I know I've been talking about Mavuika, but this message applies. And I will say even more in real life. Don't switch up on your homies, okay? There are people that care for you. And there are people that you care for. And you should cherish them. And you should not just try to love people for what they give. Or shun them for small mistakes. Of course, if they're big mistakes, then you should kick them out. Probably, right? If they're toxic. But be there for your homies, man. Be there for your homies. A random guy 007 out.